But let me tell you, the thing about like, the attack on masculinity and the toxic masculinity that's happening, like, you're not supposed to be a man and this and the, unless you're a cross-dressing man. I just remember like when I was a kid, the similar version of this was, Death Wish, which is pretty similar to this in my understanding of Vigilante. And I remember being in the audience when Death Wish 2 or 3 happened. We got there a little late. And we got there, and there was a scene where this girl is being attacked, and then we just sit down, have our popcorn. We're in the front row; it's packed, and then she runs and goes out the window, and then lands on this fence and gets impaled. And I remember like this is the first scene, and I remember everybody behind me was just absolutely and rightfully horrified. Yeah. And I was thinking to my brother, well, like, if we laugh, they're gonna hang us right now. So I do remember like literally when Clint Eastwood shot, and blew away that, punk. So I got 6. So I have 6 bullets in this gun, or only 5. If I fired in all this confusion, I forgot myself. But this being a 45, what do you call it? Colt 45 revolver being the most powerful handgun in the world and can blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself a question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And then he blows the guy away. The guy goes for the gun. He blows him away. And we're all like, yeah, I might kill that motherfucker. And I just remember that's coming back. People are sick of this shit. They're sick of the liberal judges letting people off. And, it's as Gad Saad has popularized the idea of suicidal empathy. The idea is that, when you care more about the person that's harming you than you care about the person being harmed. When you care more about the criminal than the victim, that's a form of misused empathy.
So misuse is right, and he calls it suicidal empathy.
Yeah.
I don't like the term because it implies that they are actually empathetic people, and they're not. Right? I mean, you said it before. I mean, these are narcissists. Hollywood is full of narcissists. So the fact that they hold these views, it doesn't make sense of what these are the empathetic people. Javier Bardem, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
So these are narcissists, and it's just how will it make me look, and how will it make me feel? Will I feel and look like a good person?
Yeah.
That's not empathy, is it?
No, it is a form of vanity.
That's what it is.
In the guise of empathy.
Suicidal vanity. Yeah. I'm going to tell Gad that. Dr. South.
We should definitely hip him to that. He'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
No, it's a bummer because, when you look at somebody of his talent, Javier Bardem, I mean, he's a huge talent. And I've met him. He's a nice man. But like, they're just ignorant. I mean, it's just like, I hate to say that, but some of the actors that are, that I've really admired over the years, and I'm sure, we're all ignorant just on different subjects, but my goodness, to be ignorant of like, the Hamas massacre, the brutality of the 1,700, Israelis that were murdered that day and the next day, and kidnapped. It's just to try to put a handle on it. It's like if Canadians crossed over, from Toronto into Michigan and killed if you take and extrapolate the 1,700 people, Israelis, it's only like I think 8 million, and extrapolate to the United States, it's roughly 30,000. And so if people in Toronto snuck over the border, killed 30,000 Americans, Toronto would have been leveled in 48 hours. And in a unceremonious way. And so the idea that the Israelis are supposed to do nothing, I mean, there's no army in the world that worked harder to try to limit the casualties from civilians. No one would do that. I mean, but if you're gonna shoot rockets from a hospital or from a school, you're gonna put yourself and the people in that place in jeopardy. And unfortunately, you have a soulless, evil group who did manipulate world opinion, and they were very successful at it. And so people like, celebrities that jumped on that bandwagon, I always tweet out like, what about Nigeria? The Christians being massacred in Nigeria. Do you have, so it's selective outrage, selective empathy. and very self-serving. It's just you have a rise in anti-Semitism now that I've not seen in my lifetime. I mean, literally, you could go on Twitter and go like, "Yeah, because you're a Jew." You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a Jew, blah, 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 Jew. And I don't remember that. I don't think you could, you couldn't say homo and without having your account or the word without having your account taken down. But you can call, somebody a Jew murderer, and that's like, whoa. So you're having a rise of that. And it happens. It's
you say that you're a Catholic, aren't you?
Yeah, well, my dad was Jewish, my mom's Catholic. You know the old Bill Maher joke, when I went to confession, I bring my attorney. Father, this is Mr. Cohen. He'll be answering all the questions. And but and at the same time, you see a rise, there's a rise in evil. And along with that, there is an anger in the populace. I think anytime the culture feels stuck, you have, there's scapegoating. And the scapegoating is a real sign of evil.
You know what's sad is if you said all of this stuff, let's say you got up after Javier Bardem at an awards do or something and said some of this very calmly and nuanced as you are doing, you'd be booed out of there. They'd heckle you out of there. Whereas I think the only way you can now deal with it is the way Jerry Seinfeld did. Did you see when they're shouting Free Palestine at him? He was like, it doesn't exist! And just gets in his car, That's all you can do. You just got to joke back and go, I'm not dealing with this.
They're Egyptians and Jordanians. How come no other country will take them? If they're so great, why is there a giant wall in Egypt? How come the UAE won't take one? How come Qatar said no to any Palestinians? Well, because they know these are there are cultures that are better than other cultures. There just absolutely are. Not all cultures are equal. And when you bring in, my friend Peter Boghossian, the professor Peter Boghossian, when you bring in people into your culture who hate your culture, or as he says, people of low trust cultures come in, and they're going to bring that same low trust to your culture. And they're just going to, like in Somalia, and as I say on stage, I don't think we're getting Somalia is bringing us their best people. I don't think we're getting the engineers and doctors and lawyers over here. I think those three guys stayed there. The three, and so we're getting the pirates. I mean, didn't anybody see, what is it called? Captain Phillips?
That movie was not good for actors because they just got some guys from Somalia.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good.
They were.
So it made
actors... Don't you realize, all of us actors know it's all bullshit. I mean, there are some really good actors, but it's the role. We all knew that American Beauty was going to win the Academy Award for whoever got that role. We all knew. And there was a lot of us who could have done it.
Were you in the standing for it?
And no, it's at that, you get so typecast. I mean, that's the difference between why I really like the French, theater and the French, particularly the film industry, and which is interesting because the United States would fund the French film industry indirectly because there used to be 11% tax. Up until 2000, there was an 11%, or 2001, there was an 11% tax on American movies, which I thought was a pretty good idea. So, because American movies at that point, Hollywood, was 92% of all world cinema. That was the height of it. And so the French, as they would want to do, we will tax this and make our own movies, and they would make these beautiful little movies. Yeah. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. And but eventually we started taxing their cheese and wine. Said, "Oh right, we won't do it anymore." but the French in France, you could they would want to see what was the guy from Green Card? What's his name? And he's a really
Viggo Mortensen.
No, from Green Card, the big. He's big now. The blonde-haired. He lives in. I think he lives in Russia now to avoid taxes.
Oh right.
Oh, what's his name? The French.
Gérard Depardieu.
Gérard Depardieu. He says Gérard Depardieu could do a sex comedy, and then he could turn around and play, a general in Napoleon's army in a period piece. You can't do that in America.
Piss on a plane. No one would care. Just do what you want. Well, Robin Williams and Jim Carrey were kind of the two that.
But it was years of having to do that, and then when
your mate
started,
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he had to work. I mean, it's a tough thing. Nobody says we'd like to see you do it. They go like after they see, oh yeah, he can do it.
Yeah,
we can all do it.
Uncut Gems. That was
Uncut, which was great.
Could you have done that role?
Yeah.
It's just, you know what? Sometimes I feel like the British guys do admit that. So I've heard Anthony Hopkins, I've heard Colin Firth. They're asking, "What is your method?" And they just go, I turn up and I do the voice and I go home. Although then there's what's his name, who won all the awards from There Will Be Blood, Daniel Day-Lewis, who is a bit over the top about the whole thing.
Well, I mean, he takes it, very seriously. Well, I respect it.